Hey there, everybody. I just came to sit here in front of the camera and spit some garbage for a few minutes while I'm waiting to pick up my kids. It's been an interesting day of travels. My kids both wanted to go to the same movie, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, except they both wanted to go to different theaters with different friends. Of course, teenagers. So I had to drive my both of my kids down here to my old house to pick up my son's friend, drive them to the theater, then take my other son all the way back up, halfway back to my house, to the mall, drop him off at 5 o'clock on a Friday, and then drive back here. And yeah, it's been interesting. Now I have to go pick them back up at their movie, then go pick him up at his movie, then drive all the way back to my house. And so that's the life of a traveling, I was going to say traveling salesman, but I couldn't think of a quick enough jest to throw in there. Traveling dadsman, I guess, traveling human. We live in a world where we're busy, so, what do you do, right? So that breaks the ice here, if you've stuck around to hear my rambling story. I suppose now I can continue on my off-the-cuff thought here about life, and I guess that would be the perfect introduction for it, because for a moment I kind of forgot what I was going to talk about, and I was like, oh yeah, and it's very simple. What should I give a damn about? So it was perfect that I introduced with my own boring story, because it's something that most people probably don't give a damn about. You have your own errands to run, your own things to do, and yet I still care about people and their stories, right? So take a deep breath, then another deep breath, because I tend to talk a lot, and I've really come to understand that's why I have this YouTube channel. It really allows me to express myself without people around me rolling their eyes. At least I can't see you rolling your eyes. And I'd mentioned several times in the past, like asking the question of what we should give a damn about and what's really important. And other people matter, like, more than anything. I mean, like, our community and our connection with other people, even if we don't realize it, right? And even when we're not maybe living up to the best potential and, that we see in ourselves. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of us, there are a lot of folks out here that have a ton of empathy, like, and are very affected by others' emotions and the situations we encounter. And that's always been my situation, where I can feel people's vibes. I can just tell when they're grumpy. I don't always respond to it, because I've built up kind of a wall, a resistance, maybe a tough love mentality, like, if it's not something actually tragic or a major problem, I've found that most people just worry themselves about things that don't really matter, right? Or, even with when I'm chatting with my friends, or, somebody might bring something up about an issue that really doesn't even make my radar, but is huge to them. And so instead of just kind of saying, well, that's a waste of time, I've taken on the mentality of, I'm glad that you pursue that. I'm glad that there's one guy out there who wants to know the inner workings of one particular cartel, or there's one guy out there who wants to know how to make the very best shovel. You see what I mean? Like, all of these people combined, all of us combined, are what make the world. And we tend to kind of forget that. Like, the different mindsets that it takes to make a world happen. And this is goes in line kind of with what I was saying the other day about, like, different personality types. Yeah, there's no absolute way to categorize people at all, but there are certain behavioral traits that we tend to share. And if those groups with certain traits can learn which traits they work best with other groups, for example, these could be very beneficial in the workplace, and are. Many people use many of these personalities, like the MBTI, to kind of gauge whether or not their workers are compatible. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I guess it depends on how accurate you are with, the comparisons. But there are some people that just don't work well together, and there are some people that work phenomenal. And I still don't know how any of that works, but I do know that getting the humans together that care about the same thing is how we make change, right? So as I said, this is about what should I care about and what matters. Well, it's whatever matters to you. And it's important not to let other people tell you that something matters if you don't feel it in your heart that it matters. Now, you may just be misinformed or uninformed on this topic. It could be anything. It could be, for example, climate change. Somebody could tell you, you should be concerned and you should be fighting against this. But you may have the mentality of, what am I going to do about it? I've got other things I have to worry about, right? Sure, throw our recycling in the recycling bin. Try not to drive too much in our cars. We're constantly, there's, not to be cynical, but, one factory, one volcano, it's very hard to compete with nature and with big business. So the average person, we do care. We just don't know what to do. It would be the same way with like a species going extinct. Maybe a perfect example would be the panda. A lot of people just want to preserve the panda. It's this cute bear creature that just sits around on its ass and eats bamboo, and we've been trying to keep it alive because naturally an animal like that is going to go extinct. That's just the process. But we are living in the 6th great extinction. I mean, not to be like fear mongering here, but like most scientists who study past collapses agree that we are in right now the 6th great extinction. We've lost most of our land mammals, like 90% in the last couple centuries. I believe less than like 5% of the entire weight of all mass on the earth, as far as the animals, is actually wild animals, and all the rest is livestock. We've slowly morphed this planet into a cesspool, and I'm trying to see things in a positive light, and I do, because I know that tomorrow there could be a major catastrophe that could just wipe everything out. But that's not the end, you see. That's a new beginning. And there are people who are, for what they call accelerationists, who just want the end times to come. And to them, it's more about wanting to rewrite and control things. Then there are people who feel the same way about a collapse, not because they want people to suffer, or not because we want people to suffer, because this is how I have felt for a long time, and I can't deny it. I think the world needs a reset. And I think that a lot of people would suffer because of that reset now. But I believe that if we continue to go along at the rate we're going along, more people will suffer in the long run. And being, very raw utilitarian in many ways when it comes to human life and suffering, I don't see any one nation as better than another, or one people or race. And that actually does set a huge precedent for some people. They want to preserve certain things because they believe that there are superior people, or a superior religion. I don't believe any of that. I think every human has equal value. So therefore, to me, what is going to benefit the most humans is what's most important. And so what we should care about is whatever moves us, and also at the same time be able to talk to people who have different opinions and different viewpoints, to get an idea of how others feel and what matters to them. But it doesn't mean we have to take on their pain. We each have our own little piece of the pie and our own road to walk. So to answer my own question, what really matters, what should matter to us, I would say it's extremely subjective. And I know that sounds like a cop-out. Like, well, no, there are important things. Some people would say it's family. And for some people, they're born to, enjoy solitude. They have no interest in a family or friends. They want to do their own thing. And even though I'm the kind of person who believes we all need connection, and I still believe that, for some people it's very minimal. They've found a different path. They walk a different path, Think of Buddhist monks, they've got their group, but some go off in solitude. Why? Because that's what they want to do, and that's what their thing is. And because of that, we can observe them and say, hey, how's this working for you? Kind of check in on people who do extreme things. Even the guy who snowboarded down fucking Mount Everest, that guy died. Dude skied down Mount Everest. I saw this Red Bull clip recently. I watched it twice. It's the first time I've watched a video twice in a long time, and it's like 20 minutes long, and it's just Started at the very top. There was like nobody there. It was in late fall. They had a good snowpack. It was pretty heavy duty. And this dude skied down the whole damn thing without oxygen. And I thought, my first thought is, what an idiot. But then my thinking kicked in and I was like, okay, I get it. Yeah, there's ego involved. Yes, it's ridiculous. You could kill yourself. But my God, the joy it brings people to watch and to know that it's something that can be done. And if you've ever looked into like sports records, I mean, they're broken every year for a reason. I mean, if you had told people how far they would hit a baseball, every year from 1950, they'd be like, no way, not possible. Or with any sport, like people are always breaking records because they see that this has already been done, and therefore, of course, you can do a little better. And so they have that dedication. If you believe you can do something, you can do it if you put in the effort. And that's why society as a whole is improving, but at the same time, we're destroying ourselves. So maybe if there's a reset, we can utilize the tools that we've developed for a better future and kind of look back on the mistakes we've made and take them to heart. Maybe not. We'll see. Anyway, that's what I got for today. And, oh yeah, can't forget to thank today's sponsor, Darkness. Darkness is all around you, but you can always find the light. So find the fucking light. It's got to be around here somewhere. And so yeah, no sponsors, but feel free to check out the Patreon if you'd like to donate, and I will see you all next time. Be well.